Welcome back to KTGR's coverage of the premiere of 42, the Jackie Robinson story, and we are here at the Negro League Baseball Museum. Bob Kendrick, president of the museum, Brian Freeman from the Sports Wire. And if you want to get in touch with us, of course, you can hit us up on Twitter at KTGR Sports or Facebook.com/KTGR ESPN Radio. In between us is Rube Foster. He's really the founding father of the Negro Leagues. Now, you and I have talked in the past about Foster and how smart he was business-wise to be able to create the centralized Negro Leagues. Talk a little bit about Foster and the rise and the fall, so to speak.
Rube Foster, first and foremost, one of the most brilliant baseball minds this game has ever seen. Perhaps the greatest baseball mind this game has ever seen that nobody knows anything about. He was light years ahead of his time. You know, as we talked about in the earlier segment, Rube Foster was known to find his ball players if they were tagged out standing up. They were supposed to slide. He would draw that circle on the first base line and that circle on the third base line, and if you couldn't drop a bunt inside that circle, he would find you. Rube was adamant about that style of play. Rube, of course, helped organize the Negro Leagues here in Kansas City, became known as the father of black baseball, and he ran the Negro Leagues with an ironclad fist. And so there was some who thought Rube was too powerful because he had control of all the umpires, he had control of the books, he had control of everything. And so the story has it that Rube was on league business in Indianapolis in 1925. He's asleep in his hotel room, is exposed to gas. A passerby walks by, smells the gas, kicks in, brings him out. When he comes out, he's unconscious. When he comes to, he was never the same. He was subject to fits of rage. And so ultimately his family would have to institutionalize him. And here, one of the most amazing minds this game has ever seen, he dies a few years later of a heart attack in an insane asylum. And when Rube Foster died, the fans of Chicago lined the streets for 3 days to pay their respect to the beloved Rube Foster. You see, there's great speculation that that gas leak may not have been accidental, that somebody may have been trying to take old Rube out because it was too powerful. So even though he was in the ranks of the Negro Leagues, didn't necessarily like Rube, because Rube was he set up a deal in 1920 to get 15% of the gate. Well, in 1920, over 400,000 fans attended Negro League games. Foster was a very rich man.
Do you think he had too much power?
Well, I can tell you this. I don't know of anyone in professional sports at that time that had a deal like Foster did. See, Rube had either ownership or booking rights of 4 of the original 8 Negro League franchises. He essentially divested ownership of 3, kept the Chicago American Giants, and then in that deal with the Negro Leagues was paid 15% of the annual gate. You look at anybody in Major League Baseball, they didn't have a deal like that. They had no deal like that. So yeah, he was very powerful.
Stick with KTGR.com. In the next video, we're going to talk about baseball and jazz and how the two intertwine so beautifully. And to some regards, maybe still do a little bit of baseball music on KTGR.com.